as you can see, there is some stuff. Some complicated stuff, some new stuff, and save that to last. I think I'm going to start with the 4x4. Because I want to start 4x4. This is the Moyu something something. Great explanation and great name. Moyu Maylong 4M. J-Bum said that the 4x4 with the cheap 4x4 without the magnets was still a good choice. This one is with magnets, so I guess that should make it better. Okay, so it feels a bit dry, you see. Yeah, it's dry. It's dry and it's probably too tight. Yeah, it's way too tight. It seems to come with this little accessories box. Screwdriver, one card, and another card, and another card, which sort of seems to be useful. But of course it's Chinese, so it's even more useful. See how much Moyu cares about us? They care about us so much that they even want us to learn Chinese. And a screwdriver. What can I say? Out of the box, not much experience with 4x4s, so I'm thinking of starting to learn 4x4. I mean, if I don't like 4x4, then I just won't do 4x4, and that was one of the primary reasons why I chose this over any other cube. Talking about magnet strength, the inner layers are, I'd say, relatively strong. They're relatively strong, but they're not that strong. The outer layers are easy, like you can turn the outer layers easily, and their magnets don't seem to be strong at all. So the outer layers don't feel anything really. However, the inner layers are nice. A little bit of lube should fix this up, and a cube start as well. So that's nice. Next up, I want to open the Mastermorphix. Quality control, box is broken. Great news. Now I know the Mastermorphix is hard because I know that you turn the edges and you can turn them halfway, so that makes it even harder. Yeah, that's complicated enough. And it seems to have a guide as well. And guess what? Centerpieces. Edge pieces. Wait, how's that an edge? Is this a corner? Yep, this is a corner. So it's basically a 3x3. Yeah, I guess center and then one layer, middle slices. And these are the sides. Yeah, I guess it's kind of a 3x3. It's a 4-sided 3x3. Look at this. I guess this is a genius explanation. You just change it from this to this. Absolutely wonderful. Yeah, they're not explaining much whatsoever. All they're doing really is they're just saying it's a 3x3. So I guess that's sort of useful. I guess. Sort of. Not much. But it does give you some sort of hint. It just says, just solve like 3x3. So, this is very interesting. It's going to be a big challenge. I think. It's a challenge. So that will be, Jesus Christ, Folia. Not now. And finally, the GAN 356M, the standard version. Now, I decided to get this over the... Now, disclaimer, I already have the XS. I just wanted to find out if this is any better than the XS. And also, because this has potential swappable parts with the XS. And also, if I find the magnets too weak, I can just add some more. But the real reason was because of swappable parts. And I know that the corners in the XS, as a matter of fact, they don't have the honeycomb pattern. However, the corners on here will do. And plus people have been saying this feels a lot like the X, so I guess that's what I'm going to go with. It's another X. Here, and I can already see that probably where they cut off some money is with the box. The box of the XS is a cardboard box. This is not, so that's step number 1. The inner plastic box, I'm not very fond of it. It opens way too easily. The XS box is much harder to open, which is what I like about the XS box, but it's also, because it's harder to open, it's frustrating at the start, but this is kind of self-explanatory box if you really care about it. Inside the accessories, you have another GAN tag, another solving thing, and here are the, I guess, improved GES. So that's what I'm going to call them. Because the GES, as far as I'm aware, on the GAN X are basically the same as here. I'm not sure about this color scheme because I don't own the X, but I'm pretty sure the color, the tensions or the spring strength is the same on here as with the X. Of course, it's nowhere near close to the XS, but oh well. Plus, people have been calling it the kind of cheaper XV2 or the cheaper X or the cheaper XS. Nice. So I want to give you my first impression of this. Feels a bit slightly dry. No, it's not. It's still light though. It's light. It's light and it's sort of a bit kind of dry compared to this. You can kind of hear how sort of thick the sound is here. You can hear how thick it is, while here it's not really thick. I'm using thick probably way too much. And the matte plastic looks a bit funky here because it's not the same matte plastic as on here. I know that this is shiny now, but the matte plastic originally on the XS was sort of, you could feel that it was more expensive, while the matte plastic on here is, I'd say, the same as on a budget cube. So I guess that's also where they cut off with the price. So really this would probably, I would say, I'm not so sure that the M would really gradually change into this sort of shiny. You can see the shininess, right? Yeah, you can kind of see the shininess. Yeah, I'm not sure it will gradually actually become this shiny, but I don't know, I'm hoping for it. And so, first impression is it feels nice. It feels fast. The magnets are, yeah, regarding the magnets, the magnets actually feel stronger than the strongest on here, so that's a bit of a funny thing. Maybe it's just because it's easier to turn. I don't know, I set up mine a bit harder to turn. This is easier to turn. And this was the blue ones, so I think the blue ones are the second last. No, it doesn't tell me anything else. And it has no sort of explanation as to which ones are tighter, which ones are looser, so that's a great thing. Now, as far as I'm aware, it goes purple, blue, green, yellow. So yellow should be the tightest, I think, and purple are the loosest. Yeah, there's a fair bit more force on the yellow ones than the purple ones. And regarding the green versus yellow, yeah, yellow seems to be the tightest. So it's definitely purple, blue, green, yellow. Does it feel like the excess though? Sort of similar. Sort of similar. It's a bit harder to turn actually. And out of the box, the corner cutting is reverse is nice. Yeah, reverse goes just past that first line, and normal corner cutting, 45 is a bit of a challenge. Yeah, 45 is a challenge. So this obviously tells me they're on 0.6, so they're on 0.6 distance. So that isn't too good. I don't recommend 0.6 distance because I think it's the same as having a 1 here. And I use a 2 on the dark blue thing, and I use the 4th click, or the fifth setting on the 4th click. So I think I'm going to have to change it. So if I'm on the 4th setting, that can't be the tightest. I'm thinking I'm probably going to have to fit with grain spring style the same, but it's definitely not 0.6. It's 0.8. Now you can barely see this, probably, you can't probably see it, but it has two settings, 0.6 and 0.8. So that's unlike the X where you have 0.6, 0.8 and 1.0. This one has only 2, so I'm guessing the 1.0, they thought that 1.0 was unnecessary, I guess? Because most probably 1.0 is just way too loose or something. Then the question arises, what exact settings are on the XS? So yep, this feels too fast. So corner cutting again, reverse is normal, and normal corner cutting is, yeah, normal corner cutting is easier. So I'm thinking that 0.8 is probably the setting, and I think that I should probably place green ones in here. And also another cool thing about the, what? Another cool feature. That's a challenge. Anyway, another cool feature that I think about is with the 356M is that I'm pretty sure I can put these into here, so if I really like the feel of this one more than this, then I could place the center from here into here, or vice versa, so change the magnets, change the edges, or change the core. Actually, I don't need to change the core itself, I can just change the sort of the end pin, because as far as I'm aware, the core is the exact same. Yeah, it seems the same. But the corners are actually better. The corners are better on the end. So I'm guessing that was kind of their solution to make the access slower. Anyway. And 0.8. I think we're going to have to use these magnets. Yeah, it seems like the lube has probably got it stuck, so it's a bit of a downside. It's a bit of a tight fit, so I'm not sure where that's for. But I'm also sure that this actually has the same sort of springs replaceable with the MV2. So that means if I ever get the MV2, then that would mean that I can replace it with these other ones, because I know that the MV2 is way too loose with the purple springs. So changing the distances is actually quite easy. The biggest, I'd say, problem is changing between different springs. So that's, I guess, area for improvement. Put it like that. So, I think this should be good. But I feel like it's a really good idea that GAN is actually trying to hit the mid-price market, because right now this costs only 60 Australian dollars compared to the GAN XS being 98.5. Yeah, this feels my good. You can sort of hear how it's like yeah, so you can sort of hear the difference. And also, I'm going to just add a nice side bonus here to all the roux users, or the roux solvers, because I know that people sometimes use roux. Here's just regarding the M layers. The M layers are fine. I mean, they're actually quite good because of the magnetic strength. Yeah, so although it does feel sort of on the strong side, the magnets are actually better than in here. Because here I'm have to using a lot of strength to actually get the M layers to turn. So while it's actually much smoother, like it will be better. The excess I feel would be better for C-pop. I know this sounds very case specific and very weird, but with the top strength of magnets here, they're much better for C-pop rather than the default magnets in here, which will be much easier to do with the M slices. So just gonna do some solves and give you my overall opinion about it. overall, I think that the GAN 356M is quite a nice cube. It's honestly genuinely good. Is it as good as the XS? It certainly is not, but for the price, it most definitely is better than, I don't know, say a Volt Power, right? Those extra $8 do really make a difference. I do find one problem with it though. It is way too fast. It is fast at that point that it sort of feels like it's slipping out of my hands. And that is not about the supposedly slipperiness, because that, as a matter of fact, although after time, the excess does get covered with this supposedly less slippery surface, it feels more slippery, while this, it feels as if the cube is actually flying out of my hands, although technically it's not flying out of my hands. I can hold it. It just feels like the cube is trying to do things for me. I hope you get the point, because it's just too fast. At a point that it's uncontrollable, like at this point in time, it feels like I'm going to turn and do more than a turn, which is what I don't want. So I'm thinking of probably not blue or green springs, probably thinking of the yellow springs. What is nice, however, though, is that they've eliminated the other tension, the 1.0, because it feels like you don't really want 1.0 at all. With this, the corner cutting is already quite nice. It's, I'd say, comparative to the XS, because I have the same things in the XS. And although it's marginally heavier, which doesn't make any difference. But overall, it's a very, very nice and solid cube. It's a GAN cube, all I can say. It feels like a budget sort of GAN cube. The surface though, it's not matte. It's not the matte surface. I remember the matte surface. This feels like plastic, but matte plastic. So it's not this sort of matte. Hope you can see. This sort of matte is a matte that is sort of non-reflective. Yeah, like that. You can sort of see how the surface is grainy. And that's the same thing over here. It just feels a bit more expensive. It's not like the matte version of the XS. So I don't know about that. Mixed opinion. It will probably suit some. It will suit the people that really like a fast cube. But as a mid-price cube, it is a great cube. By the way, I'll leave a link in the description to where I got the cubes, as well as each one of them individually, so you can go buy them yourself if you really like them. I think, is this the cheaper version of the XS? Well, not really. Despite the XS having such sort of unrealistic tensions of having it on a 4 and the 5th click, or the 6th setting 5th click, basically, is unrealistic. You're never going to do that. You're not going to have the loosest or the tightest setting in the XS at all. You're never going to do that. You're going to have somewhere in the middle. This sort of feels like it's picked out the middle, but it does feel a bit worse, like too fast, because you can probably see the honeycomb is still there. It's still persistent on the foot, so that makes it faster than the XS. But overall, yes, it's very, very nice. It's absolutely amazing that GAN is starting to make mid-priced cubes. And if you want the light version, well, all it is you're going to have the blue nuts and you're not going to have the purple, yellow, or green. So would I think purple is important? Yeah, I'm not quite sure if purple is needed, but oh well, however you want. And do I think the yellow are nice? Yeah, I think the yellow are nice. The blue is also going to be good, but it's going to be, I feel like it's going to be way too fast for some people. Green, as I have it, I quite like it. I'm probably going to switch it to yellow though, because, you know, yellow. It's going to be tighter than this, because right now it does feel way too loose. Well, it doesn't feel loose. It feels way too fast, and I don't want that. As for the 4x4, I'm probably going to start practicing and learning. And I do know some stuff for 4x4, but not an incredible amount to actually start speaking with it. So please tell me in the comments if you'd like me to try to attempt to learn, and if you'd like to see me try to learn the Mastermorphix for the first time. just like first try. So overall, I'd say these are really great puzzles. 4x4 feels really good from first impressions. It just needs lube, it feels dry. But overall, I'm quite happy. I'll leave a link to each of these cubes mentioned in the video. That's the Mastermorphix GAN XS GAN 356M and the Moyu Maylong 4M, I think. So anyway, thank you for watching, and please tell me in the comments what you'd like to see me do next. I'm thinking of attempting to either set up a Yushin Little Magic as good as the XS or the M, or I'm going to attempt to solve a 4x4 or the Mastermorphix. Please tell me in the comments what you would like me to see to do next, and I'll see you guys next time.